My Twitch chat was saying that I could beat up Logan Paul. And it's like, I am clearly at my home field right now. Because Logan Paul would kick my ass. Not only is that guy trained, like he's an actual fighter, but he's way
Who did
bigger
he just
and
get knocked
stronger.
out by? He just sparred with which UFC middleweight? A
Oh.
legit one, and he got flatline KO'd, which made me respect him a
Kyle,
lot.
help me with this name. He's the very strong guy that Israel Adesanya is about to fight next.
Handsome guy. Handsome
Costa.
Brazilian guy.
Costa? What's
Yeah.
his first name?
Paulo?
Paulo Costa. And I think he kind of hammed up the knockout a little bit. You know,
Didn't look like much ham to me.
I don't know.
it did to me, but I could be off. You know, what do I know?
Yeah, Woody could beat up most human beings. That if he's gonna get in a fight, like at the movie theater, right? Like the average movie goer cannot take.
I agree. Half of them
Woody's
are women.
gamer tag.
Half of them are women, and right there,
Right off the bat.
Yeah, right off the bat.
80-90% of those women, he'd flatline.
What belt are you, Woody?
I'm not saying, but no, I trained for years. I didn't go for belts, but I did no gi for a while. But I'm not special. I was never special. I trained with people who were special sometimes and saw the difference. But
As in retarded kids? I trained BJJ too, actually. I don't know if we've talked about this.
That's right. Are you a purple
Yeah,
belt?
I'm a purple belt.
That's legit. No, I trained for 3 years, and then I took off with and healed up my ACL and such, and then I came back and trained for one more, something like that.
Is purple right before black?
No,
There's brown between the two.
Purple is the third. So white, blue, purple, brown, black.
Brazilian
that's not an order of coolness. Brown should be the lowest. That's the lamest of those
It's the
colors.
closest to black.
and the purple's the
Says
highest.
who?
Just to show that the entire journey is.
What happened to gray?
Yeah.
Did you stop trading, Danny?
I did, just out of time constraints because YouTube is such a full-time operation.
Purple belt is a legit thing. I don't know if people understand what a big deal that is, but
Let's try to quantify how much straight BJJ training it takes for you to beat 95% of the people on Earth. I think once you've hit a year and a half, you're there, which is a blue belt. You're a low-level blue belt, and if you're on a soccer field and the guy doesn't have a knife, 95% of the time you can take him out if you've been training for a year and a half.
I would argue that a year and a half of training is worth about 30 pounds, maybe 40 pounds, right? So if you've trained for a year and a half, you're about even with a guy 30, 40 pounds bigger than you. If you train for 3 years, you're even with a guy who's maybe 60 pounds bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work for you?
Wow.
I think if you're a really good blue belt or purple belt level and you're on a favorable terrain, aka not a shady bar room with a bunch of sharp edges and a guy with all of his cronies in the bathroom ready to come out.
Bus. That was always the one I worried about.
Yeah.
Like all
I
these
rolled
skills
deep.
I'm developing are worthless on a bus aisle.
You guys keep training Kyle and I just have pots.
Yeah.
We've got our homies.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's good. The bus aisle is a bad place to fight for a jiu-jitsu guy. I did something which is very ill-advised for a jiu-jitsu fighter before. I've actually pulled guard in a street fight in a parking lot, which should be the ultimate no-no, a guarantee to get your ass kicked or knocked out, and it worked. And the guy was a former some position on the school football team, and I was able to sweep him from guard and then just beat him
Wait,
up.
why would that be a bad thing in a parking
So
garage?
pulling guard is kind of being the bottom in a missionary position at sex. And your head, like if you, well, not you so much, but you could grab my hair and hit it on the on the asphalt, perhaps, or you know, if you just introduce. So in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you're in my guard, we're about even. I might even have a slight advantage, but you add punching to the mix, probably you have the advantage, even though you're in my guard.
Okay.
The way to think about it is if you're in my guard, you're between my legs. I have both my hands and both my legs ready to attack with. But Woody makes a good point. When you have gravity and punches, we're a little more even. But yeah, adding the asphalt to the equation, if this guy stands up and slams me, if he throws a punch and there's no give because my head is going from knuckles to concrete, it gets dicey. Not even to mention if he has a buddy who's trying to negotiate with a hooker around the corner, hears a commotion, and then runs over towards you and kicks you in the back of the head when you're not looking. It's not a great tactical move. Yeah. But I had a spotter. I had a buddy who was watching over his fight to keep it one-on-one. And one-on-one, I mean, Hoist Gracie proved it, man. There isn't a superior martial art.
See, I like the idea of learning how to box or do jujitsu more than the practice of it. Like the thought in my head of like, yeah, I can go do a boxing class and like get some good cardio and learn how to, do that better. I can go to a jujitsu and get probably even better cardio and do that. But then I'll think about it and be like, man, I really don't want to get beat up.
Jiu-jitsu is fun.
No fun.
In jiu-jitsu, you don't get punched. Jiu-jitsu it becomes like playing a strategy video game because it's so unique, the style you develop. Are you a guard player? Are you a top player? Are you a choke guy, an armbar guy? And once you get past the bad 6-month period where everybody just fucks you up every day, it becomes really addicting.
Dude, I joined
when it's a lot of time to put in to get fucked up.
Dude,
it's true.
Let me go. When I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I joined, right? And I'm going there. And of course, everyone's kicking my ass. They're all experienced and stuff. Nobody joined after me for like 9 months. It was
that sucks.
Horrible.
So you were the new guy for way longer than you should have been.
Terrible. It was terrible. And I started to get to where I could get competitive with people who've been longer, but they're smaller than me. And then eventually I remember the first guy ever tapped out. He was big. He was like 40 pounds bigger than me. Not strong, but like a little bit fat and a little bit strong. Mm-hmm. And I triangled him, and it was like, the first guy I ever beat. Mm-hmm. It was great. After a while, my favorite thing, don't let me talk like I'm some sort of badass, but people would come in untrained, but perfect specimen, right? Big chest, bulky shoulders, etc. And it's like, if they don't have any offense, it's just a matter of time before they give me something to go for. This, I think rounds were 5 minutes or 7 minutes or something. Mm-hmm. And over that time, I'd get them twice. They get me 0 because they have no offense, Thankfully, there's no punching. Everyone would figure that out. But you take away the punching, and I really enjoyed the perfect specimens.
Yeah, I don't want to get punched.
And that's a great thing about jiu-jitsu is no other martial art can you spar full bore without taking punches to the head. So you can hop in the boxing ring, but after 3-4 years in the game, you might see some CTE later down the road. Jiu-jitsu, you're going against fully resisting opponents without getting your teeth knocked in, without getting your nose broken. So you get a ton of reps against resisting guys.
And that removes a lot of bullshit, right? Like if you go to Kung Fu, for example, there's all sorts of like, if the guy puts his hand on your chest in a flat thing like that, you grab his 2 fingers and you pull them apart. That will never happen in a fight. Never does anyone present their fingers for you to muscle each of them and pull them apart.
And isn't Kung Fu striking like kicking and punching, or no?
It is kicking and punching, but there's a lot of super silliness. And I actually took Kung Fu before Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's all like no one ever resists. You just sort of, and all the punches and blocks are in slow motion, and it's just not full effort, so you don't develop any actual skills. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you can go full effort without injury, so things that are bullshit mystic martial arts get quickly weeded out. You
know what looks like real shit, and I know this from like a couple of YouTube videos I watched, was Krav Maga, where all of the attacks, it does not seem like there are any rules whatsoever in Krav Maga. Like I was watching the fight, and the guy's like, so what? He's like Israeli, because I think it's an Israeli kind of thing, and he's saying like, what you do is he come with you and you take your pen and you stab him in nutsack, and then you gouge his eye, and it's like, and like he even stressed, he's like, this is not the jiu-jitsu. You need to neutralize him at all cost.
I don't know much about it.
No, it's like a military fighting thing where it's not about rules. It's about
Maga.
shutting you down. Like,
remember that BJJ gym we went to, and we all rolled. It was me, you, and Joe, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, obviously, and I'm just like, well, I'll roll with Woody, of course, and he'll walk me through this. No, Woody goes and pairs off some other guy, and I'm just
the
left with
instructor chose who we paired with.
Fair enough. Someone should have gone. Well, this guy just walked in, and so I'm just with this other guy, and we're
this gentleman's wearing sandals, Sensei.
I'm just rolling with this guy on the ground, and he's just like, so how long you been doing this? And I'm just like, I've never done this before in my life. He's like, oh,
about
shit.
38 seconds.
I wondered why you were in the fetal position there for so long.
Was that Krav Maga or Jiu-Jitsu?
No, that was Jiu-Jitsu. What I was getting at was that same place taught Krav Maga. That was one of the 3 disciplines they taught there. Because, like, after that experience, I bought a sweatshirt because the lady was so hot at the front. Do you remember? I still remember how hot I was hanging out with her while you were showering or something, and I was just like, let me get one of those sweatshirts. Yeah.
Pick one from the
one
bottom.
No, the one real high up. Yeah, you got to stretch
Yeah.
for it.
So write your number on the.
You and I have different preferences and positions, it would appear.
Yeah, definitely so. And but I just remember it said like BJJ, Krav Maga, and maybe Taekwondo or kickboxing or some other shit. Probably kickboxing, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a legit martial art. I think it's more about self-defense.
Self-defense. Yeah.
I'm so anti Krav Maga whatever because
Okay.
what Woody and I were just talking about is with Jiu-Jitsu, every day you go to training, you're not getting 100% street fight simulation because no punches, you have a padded mat.
No
But
slams.
to get real repetitions of Krav Maga, you need an Afghani guy. He needs a Mac 10, and you need to be blindfolded on your knees about to be executed. That's what all the techniques are about, escaping situations like that. How can you get enough reps for that to actually pay off in a real life situation? I don't think you can through Krav Maga.
You just go pick up a few Mexicans, like 2 painters. 2 painters. Come on, let's go.
¿Qué pasó?
Do not go with that man. Several of us have gone with him. They
Was
did
your
not come
gym
back.
rough, Dane? I've trained
He stabbed me in the nutsack with a beak.
when
Your
I did,
accent.
Then he says to me, "Now you are neutralized." And I say, "I can get the fuck out of here, man."
when I did jits, I like never wanted to miss a class. So even if I traveled or something, I'd find myself in California, and I just find a place and they'd let me train that week or something. And because of that, I've trained at a couple different places, just visited schools. The culture on meanness was different. My school was mean, and like let's say you had me in side control or something, and you had the ability to put your elbow in this spot in your jaw right here. If you don't do that, what the fuck? Am I not worthy of a little meanness? Are you taking me lightly? Why aren't you giving me the ugly face? Why aren't you like you're seriously not going to take like the gi you wear is really rough. It's like sandpaper kind of. And it's like, you're not going to rub my temple with it? Like
That guy took my back and he didn't even bite my neck. I don't get it. What do you think? I'm a bitch?
Joe Lozon
You get back there
school,
and bite it.
They call it asshole jitsu, and they're all everything they do is mean. Every move they take, there's a little bit of twist. And then there are other like sports schools that aren't so mean. What was your preference?
I tend to find that the sporty schools, they have more of a 9-to-5 type guys coming in, rolling casually, and you can progress pretty quickly in jiu-jitsu. And most of the casual schools I went to, I topped out, and I didn't really have anybody on my level to roll with after a couple of years. Whereas those really competition-heavy schools, every day a new guy from Brazil who doesn't speak English and has a unibrow comes in to train for a couple of weeks. And this guy's a black belt. And this guy's net worth is $5 or $5, whatever they have in Portugal or Brazil. And that guy will fuck you up. So like I trained with Robert Drysdale in Las Vegas. And I remember the essence of that gym can be summarized best by one time I got tapped out. I got ankle locked and I yelped because my ankle completely popped. And Robert Drysdale is in a sitting position. He's like sitting meditation style, hops up. Yeah, nice ankle lock, Joseph. Yeah, you fucked his ankle up. Good shit. Daddy, your submissions, your defense is weak. And I had to like crawl off the mat and start whimpering in the corner. But that school, I always had way better guys to train with. So I thought it was more valuable.
I've told this story before, but I'm in California, like sort of visiting. And I'm rolling, right? I'm pretty new at this point. I'm a white belt. I'm deserving of it. And I go there, and there's a blue belt, but he's a little bit smaller than me, and I thought it would be fair-ish. I didn't recognize that I was about to be choked. Like, I didn't really see that I was vulnerable at that point. It was a choke I hadn't worked with. Cool. So he's getting me, and things are kind of tunneling out. I'm getting choked out, but
What does he have you in?
I don't even know to this day. It was some sort of like, it was almost like north-south, but it was a collar choke that he pulled under. And anyway, so he has me in that, and I just sort of I think I'm going for a single leg, hoping that I can get like a dominant position and then work on the choke secondary.
Bad priorities, I'm going to tell you now.
Okay. Anyway, the instructor sees this going on, and in my head, I'm like, all right, just another second of this, and maybe I can turn this around. The instructor observes my neck in a really weird position and breaks it up, but I'm out. I'm totally out. As things start to come to, I go for a double leg takedown. But unbeknownst to me, the guy I'm rolling with, the instructor, I'm going after the wrong guy. And I noticed his belt was black. But like my fucked up, just knocked out thought process was like, well, okay, I see the black belt, but maybe no one else will notice. like the instructor and the guy I'm rolling with, maybe they're not hip to the fact that I switched opponents. And so anyway, he just kind of makes me ineffective, and then he has me go sit against the wall, and I'm like, no, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, and I'm really embarrassed. You've been choked out. I always found it super embarrassing. Not that I lost, but like everyone's looking at me. Everyone knows what just happened, and I don't. I'm the only guy who's lost this period of time, and everyone's aware of the story, and I'm not. And I just wanted to roll again and bring the attention off of me. But I'm like, I'm ready to go. He's like, you're not going anywhere. You sit right there. And he made the right call. I must have been out for a little while because I had a headache and like a migraine kind of, and I wasn't all the way back until the next day.
I never minded getting choked out. I've been choked out 2 or 3 times, and it's just kind of fun when you wake up and it's like, ooh, how long?
Really?
Like, yeah, it never bothered me.
Everyone's laughing, and I don't know why, and it bothered Danny.
I don't know why they're laughing. It happens to everybody.
Might have been the stuff they did to you while you were unconscious.
Yeah. I noticed you guys didn't laugh when you choked Pablo out today. Why is that?
Kyle, did your butt hurt afterwards? Because mine hurts.
Well, we didn't fuck Pablo.
We didn't drag our sweaty nutsacks across the space.
We have this game where we choke you out, and then we see how many of us can teabag you before you wake up.
What are you coming to? Now, if you taste salt, it means you're probably going to be okay. Do you taste salt? Okay.
Danny,
Smells good to me.
I presume you trained everyone who trains been choked out at one point.
You know, I have a really pronounced Adam's apple and sort of a skinny neck. I've only been on the window of being choked out. For me, it goes straight because there are air chokes and blood chokes for the people who don't train. An air choke is really painful. It's right across your throat. That's some guillotines, some rear nakeds, go-go platas. And then there are the chokes where your carotid arteries get attacked and the window of consciousness slowly closes. That's what Woody was referring to. That's the time he got raped on the mat by Pablo. My neck always takes the brunt of the choke, so I tap from pain and lack of air before I can really get choked generally.
Yeah, it's only hurt once, and it was when Joe choked me. It was like, why are you hurting me, Joe? Because my friend in high school, he just did a blood choke, and I went unconscious. And the guy at the MMA gym, same thing, didn't hurt. Joe was just like, ah,
yeah.
Why?
Joe and everybody at his gym are mean, and that's the culture there. And and you know when Joe teaches moves, like, all right, like this is the choke, but this is the short choke, and you twist it like this, and it hurts extra, and that's what they're all about. Like,
I don't want to train with Joe,
but
nobody wants to train with Joe.
I like it. It's my preference. I like it to hurt a little. Maybe I'm discovering a kink. You know, you guys.
I think we're discovering your kink. I think you've known for a while.
Yeah, no. To me, like when you add a little pain to the whole thing, it's like shows me you're giving me your A game. To not do that.
Save that clip.
To not do that is almost an insult. Like, really? Yeah.